Hi, this is Kim from Emerging Creatively Tutorials, and this is ECT TV, episode 25. On today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make these simple earrings. It just takes a couple of different materials and you can have these earrings done very quickly. So let's get started. This is how you make these very quick and simple earrings. Let me show you what you need first. I am using 20 gauge half hard round copper wire, and you can use any wire that you want, but it will be going in your ears. So if you have metal sensitivities, make sure to use a metal that does not bother your ears. So you may want to use sterling silver. I'll be using some 8mm beads, and the exact ones I'm using to make these earrings are mixed gemstone round beads, 8mm, from Happy Mango Beads, and these have all different gemstones on them, but there's plenty of beads that match up in color and, type. So these are good, and you can make like several pairs of earrings. So really you just need 2 beads that match, and you can get those beads from anywhere. The only thing you want to be thinking about is the bore hole. So the hole in the bead shouldn't be very big because we're going to be using 20 gauge wire, and we're going to be hammering the end of it to keep the bead on. So you can't have a bead that's going to slide over the end. You'll understand that a little bit more as we go along, but just keep that in mind while you are picking out your beads. And of course, the other thing you want to think about while you're picking out your beads is the fact that these will be earrings, so you don't want your beads to be too heavy on your ears, or it could pull them down, kind of drag them down. So don't go for too heavy of beads unless your ears can handle it, and you can really use any beads you like. Like I said, I'm using 8mm beads, and the bore hole isn't very big. You will also need wire cutters to cut your wire. You'll need chain nose pliers. You will need a jewelry file, or really you can use a nail file for this part as well. A chasing hammer and a steel block, or if you have an anvil or whatever, something so you can hammer on. So the very first step is to cut 2 pieces of wire of equal length, and you can kind of decide what length you'd like to make your wire. We're going to fold the wire in half, so however far you'd like it to dangle down from your ear. I'm going to try 4-inch wires, and that means that my wires are going to kind of hang about 2 inches down from my ear once I fold them in half. The main idea here, though, is just to make sure you cut your wire to the same length. You might want to try maybe just 3 inches for kind of a smaller earring, if you like. And then we're just going to do a flush cut on each side here, and that just means the bottom of your wire cutter toward the wire. So we're going to do this 4 times because we're going to do it on each side. Okay. Alright, so now we're at my work table, and you see it's decorated, we'll call it. And I have my steel block, and my wires and my chasing hammer. The chasing hammer is the one that has a nice circular flat end, usually has a ball peen on the other side, and it's metal. You can get these basically anywhere you get jewelry supplies, and sometimes you'll even find a little tiny steel block to go with it, and that works just fine too. Or you can find these metal blocks there as well. One tip that I've heard and I've used, and I'm not obviously right now, is to put this on a mouse pad, and it kind of softens the noise a little bit when you hammer. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hammer the very end of the wires. I'm going to do them one at a time, but I am basically going to just hammer, I'll measure it, about a 1/2 inch on the bottom, and the chasing hammer will make the wire flat, so that's what I'm looking for here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm not going to talk while I'm hammering because that's annoying, but you just hammer. And you just can flip it over and do the other side. And then you can sort of see that the end where I've hammered, well, it's definitely flat because I'm using round wire, and then it's also bigger, it's wider because we flattened it and it's spread out a little than the rest of the wire. So then you just repeat that for your second piece of wire. And I had a little tip for those of you who may be new to hammering on wire. If you just, and this might seem obvious, so I apologize if I'm offending you by its obviousness. A good way to keep track of, you know, how far you want to hammer is to make sure just to put the part you want to hammer on the metal and anything else off the metal. So now I know that I'm only hammering this part. If I would hold it up, you know, up like this, I might lose track. Another idea, you could just take a marker and make a mark how far you'd like to hammer, and then you could keep track of that easily too, and you can just rub the marker off when you're done with your earrings. Alright, so I have cut apart my bead strand here that I got from Happy Mango Beads, and if you want these exact beads, come over to KimberlyKoehler.com and I'll have the link directly to the beads I'm using. So I've actually, these are all different colors, but like I said, several of them match up in pairs. So I picked out a couple of green ones that match, and I happen to love copper and green together, but you can of course experiment with whatever colors you want. And then we're just going to take the beads and slide them down. You know, obviously start on the side that's not hammered, and hopefully the bottom where you've hammered is thick enough so that the beads don't slide down. If the beads slide right off where you hammered, which may happen and you may need a little bit of experimentation to get this just right, you either need to get beads that have a smaller hole, or just try hammering a little bit more to flatten this bottom part out and make it wider. You might have to do that a couple times before you actually get this quite right. And you want to make sure you're hammering evenly, or else you'll have different, you know, the beads will be at different spots at the end of the wire. Or if that happens, you can always just kind of trim off the end and make it even if you're getting frustrated. We don't want frustration. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of bend these in half. So I always like to kind of do a loose bend first so I can easily find the middle. And then I'm going to come back in here with my chain nose pliers and make an actual bend like that. So, you know, it's kind of like an arrow, or like it would be a triangle, and kind of right in half. And then I'm just taking my fingers, I started to do this, and just kind of rounding that side with my hands. And this isn't exactly in the middle. And that's perfectly okay. We're just going to try to keep, you know, both earrings the same. So for the second one, I'm just going to line this up. I'm actually going to hold the first pair in my pliers while I do it. Find the spots where I'm going to bend. And there's a natural curve, because I didn't straighten this wire really from when I took it off the coil. So I'm just going with that because I do want these to be somewhat rounded. Alright. So then you just want to kind of check to make sure they're even. You can do some trimming if you need to make them even. And then you just grab your handy dandy file. Like I said, I'm using just a jewelry file, and you can use a nail file. And then we just are going to file the end. This is the part that will obviously go in your ear. So you just want to make sure you file it so it's kind of rounded off and it doesn't hurt your ear when it goes in. So it just takes a couple of seconds, and you can just run your finger over it to see if it's done. So you just do that on both earrings. So those are some very simple earrings. You get to try out hammering, which I love, and you can put these together very quickly. If you get the beads I got, you can make a bunch of pairs of earrings in no time at all, which is great because starting September 1st, I am holding Earrings Every Day Month. So if you're wondering what that is, you can find more information on my website at KimberlyKoehler.com. There's two different opportunities. There's Earrings Every Day Month, which is you can sign up for a newsletter and get inspiration every single day for the month of September. And I'm encouraging you to make a pair of earrings every day for the month of September. So at the end you'll have 30 pairs of earrings, and you can feel creative every day. You could wake up a little early and just make a pair of earrings before you go, something like that. So the Earrings Every Day newsletter, you'll get inspiration every day. But at the same time, I'm also holding Earrings e-course. And for that, every single day for the month, you're going to get an earring tutorial. So you'll get 30 in total starting September 1st. Some are PDFs, some are videos, some are both. But every single day you're going to learn how to make a different pair of earrings. And so there is that. The Earrings Every Day Month newsletter is free. Inspiration is free, ideas are free. The actual e-course right now is on early bird special, and it's only on early bird special till the 28th of August. On the 28th of August, the price goes up to $49. But right now, it's $25, so it's a great deal. It is less than $1 a tutorial. And I actually sell my individual tutorials for $5 a piece, and my workshops are actually $14 or more. So the value of this course is at the very least $150, but much more than that because there's also videos. And you can get in at $25, and then you have access to all these tutorials and videos after the class is over, so you can refer back to them. I have a private page set up on my website, so as each day goes by, you'll find it there permanently, so that you can come back to it whenever you want. So I'm very excited about those opportunities. You'll find more at KimberlyKoehler.com. If you have any questions, let me know. And I can't wait to start Earrings Every Day Month. Remember to come over to KimberlyKoehler.com for today's show notes. You will find this tutorial in photographs and links to everything I talked about in the show, including the Earrings e-course and Earrings Every Day. While you're there, sign up for my newsletter and you'll get a free 14-day e-course on an introduction to jewelry making. You'll also receive future episodes in PDF form directly in your inbox. I will see you over there.